All right, when you're ready.
Well, welcome today, everyone, to Revealing. Today's subject in Revealing is the unseen, the subconscious mind. And I am here with the most amazing person, the international best-selling author, friend, teacher, coach, that has gone down the rabbit hole, found how it all works, and is here to share everything with us today. We are lucky to get into your mind today, Anna Berger.
Hi, Rhonda. So good to see you. Yes, it's definitely a really exciting subject. So, I don't know how much time we have to talk about this, but I'm super passionate about it. So, anyway, you ask the questions, and yeah, let's see how we
You
go.
know, we go down deep into this and we could be here all day. But the subconscious mind and how it controls our behaviors uh, is something that is really unseen to us. It's unknowing to us. So tell us, how does it really control all our behaviors? How does it start?
It's a superpower, Rhonda. Like, seriously, what we don't realize is we were born with it. Okay, we're actually the second we're conceived, we're born with the subconscious mind. Now we don't see it. Okay, so a lot of people don't even realize we have it, but it's like a self-learning computer. So from the second we're conceived, it just codes, and it like I look at a human mind like a computer program. So everything that's showing up in our life, whatever we have in our life or don't have in our life, any problems that we have, it's because it's been coded. So it just literally codes and codes and codes and creates an algorithm upon which we operate. So I know it sounds really weird, but it's 95%, probably with a lot of people, it's almost 100% of everything that we do. It's just what got coded. So you know how some people, you know, you say something and they react to it and they sometimes overreact. Okay. It is
Right.
because there are triggers inside the subconscious mind that cause it to happen. So, it's interesting, but once you actually learn the power of I mean, subconscious mind is just incredibly powerful. And yeah, so
Let me ask you, Anna, while you're talking about that it's a programming, that we're programmed, what are we learning? Where is the programming coming from? How does that start? You say we're born and we're programmed. From what?
yeah, great question.
That
All right, so the
what
first 7 years of your life, like when we come to planet Earth, we don't know anything about anything, right? Like just little kid. So the subconscious mind is there as a protective mechanism. So it just simply pays attention to anything that anyone says or any emotions around us, and it just simply codes. So let's say, for example, if a parent is very stressed when they have a child, that stress gets copied and pasted into your own subconscious mind. Anything that anyone says, any experiences that you experience now, subconscious program is just insanely powerful. However, there's one little fault with it, and it just assumes that everything that we arrive to is perfection, which means it actually looks for, okay, what does love look like on planet Earth? So let's say wherever it is that we came from, we arrive, and there are two things that subconscious wants to make sure that you experience. One is love and belonging. Now, when I say love, it's just simply if you are within your, with parents, with family, the subconscious wants you to survive. So it wants to make sure that you fit into this environment so they don't just leave you behind and not feed you and you die, right? So it looks at it, it's like, how can I be loved? How can I be loved? And what it assumes is when it arrives, it just assumes that everything's perfect. This is what perfect life looks like. So it will code it for you to create a blueprint for when you're an adult.
So what you're saying is, as a child, everything we start seeing around us, all these behaviors, we're coding them in as the right behaviors. So for instance, if I fall down as a kid and cry, and my parents come running to me and give me love and attention, does that mean that I am programmed, even though it's subconscious now, that if I want attention from someone that I want attention, I fall down because I know they're going to come. It's going to cause a reaction. It's kind of a cause and effect, right? Is
Yeah.
that how it works?
Actually, you're onto something really powerful, because this is probably one of the biggest problems that I see with any of my students is, when you look at the subconscious mind and you think, okay, why some people are overachievers and some people are underachieve, right? Now, the underachievement actually starts with something like this, where you have a parent that's like overly helpful. It's like, oh, don't touch this, or let me do that for you. Okay, when child is treated that way, subconscious actually learns that in order to feel love, I need to pull back my learning ability. So it literally just pulls it back. So that's why we have sometimes children that are like, some of them are really successful when they're learning, some of them slow it down. And the slowing down of learning is just simply subconscious has learned that in order to feel love, because you might have a busy parent, right? And the only time they pay attention is if something happens. Now,
Right.
there are some certain codes that go in, like let's say, for example, if you have health issues, coded in the subconscious mind. Okay, and all it took is just parents super stressed about, don't touch this, you're going to get sick, or don't go outside because it's raining, you're going to get sick. Okay, subconscious learns that as soon as I go out, I need to get sick. That's literally just takes this as a given. Or like that's a busy parents, going to work, and then suddenly the child falls over and parents are running. Child also learns, okay, oh, I got love this way. It's not child that's deciding it, it's subconscious mind. And on top of that, like let's say, for example, suddenly a child's get a headache or something else, parents overly like really jump into it and just drop everything, and it's like, are you okay? Okay, and
So it's a way of getting love. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
It's a way of
100%. So what that actually will do, Rhonda, is not only the subconscious will learn, okay, that's how I get love, but if, let's say, for example, the child gets sick and there's overly, like lots of attention onto a child, the subconscious actually learns, listen to this, in order for me to get love, I need to get sick. So anytime when you go for adult life, like anyone that you ever meet, if they have health issues throughout their life, that is how it started. It got coded in childhood. So literally everything that we're experiencing in real life as an adult got coded in the subconscious mind when you were a kid. And it's, yeah, so it's pretty, I've discovered this when I was a parent, and I actually discovered this when my kids were 7 and 8 years old. And I've looked at them, and the thing is, the first 7 years are crucial because the subconscious is like 100% open. That's why kids can learn things so fast, right? Like you can speak to them 5 languages and they're going to be fluent in all. And then they go to school at the age of 7 and they go, 1, 2, 3, that's how they learn. Okay, it slows down because our conscious mind starts developing, and conscious is super slow. Like we do all our thinking with these, with our thinking mind, with the conscious mind. This is where the superpower is. Like the difference between one and the other is huge. So it slows down at the age of 7. And anyway, but so most of the codes.
Yeah, like you were saying, in the beginning, from 0 to 7, they're just kind of in a theta state, which is they're just in they're just taking in everything because they're not conscious yet. They're just soaking it all in around them. And it's interesting talking to friends. They say things like, yeah, I remember hearing my mom say certain things, you're never going to make it if you don't do this. A lot of these negative things they recall as an adult, and they were said when they were young, I guess from the 0 to 7, but they don't really remember it. But it's coming out later. I don't think I explained that correctly.
So absolutely. So from what you're saying is, it's not some of the things, it is 100% of all the things that you're experiencing. It's what got coded. Sometimes it got coded later on in life, but later on, there's this thing, I'll tell you about it later on, that but most of the codes got coded in right at the beginning. And then later on, when the conscious mind develops, it just simply mind goes, okay, well, I can't process it so fast anymore, because the difference between these and the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 to 1. Like it's a super powerful, powerful, powerful computer. Okay, it's almost like I said, like an AI, personalized AI that just codes. And then later on, because the conscious mind is slow in comparison, and from a visual perspective, it's almost like one is a bicycle and the other one's like a bullet train. That's the difference in
Good
power.
example.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like visually, if you can think of one and the other as a vehicle, one's a bicycle, one is a bullet train. So it's so much more powerful, right? And it operates most of the time. This one only probably 5% of the time. So everything that we're experiencing is driven by that. So, when you use
Everything.
so when you use this example that you remember what your parents said, well, anything that we're hearing, like, the self-critic that we get sometimes in our heads, that little voice,
Sure.
100% of what we're hearing in it, it's been recorded. Okay, it's been recorded. Something, it doesn't have to be a parent. It could be, a neighboring child, neighboring kid that went past and said something to you that really hurt you. Okay, it got coded in. And then you repeat this over and over and over again throughout your life. So the any self-judgment that you're hearing is just a recording of something that got recorded before. And on top of that, you're living your life trying to prove that this is correct. Okay, because that's the power of the subconscious mind. It brings you experiences to prove that this is correct. It's crazy.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's just kind of mind-blowing to think that all along we're being controlled really by our subconscious mind. And I guess that goes for everything that we experience in our life: pain, sadness, money, fear, all the things it triggers. We behave from those codes. So, wow, how do we jump into erasing these codes or replacing these codes? Or, I mean, I know this is exactly what you teach. And in a fantastic program called the Quantum Mind Academy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about recoding. What is it all about now that we know we've got all these codes in? What are we going to do with them?
Yeah.
How do we change them?
Look, I mean, there's a lot of people that obviously, you can go and deal with. The program that I've created is based on psychology and quantum physics joined together, and probably about 50 different modalities, including hypnosis. So it's a program, and this is like I've studied this so extensively, and one of the reasons why I started studying it is because when I've learned it and my kids were little, and I've realized that, hold on, there's 7 and 8 already, which means the subconscious has already slowed down and the conscious mind develops. And I've discovered all this stuff. And all I did was look at my
Oh no, is it too late?
yeah, and I'm like a parent, because prior to that I used to run a huge construction business and I was hardly at home. I was busy. Yes, we were very successful, but what I perceived as success, what we consciously think of success, lots of money, blah, 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 all that stuff, I didn't really think that there was, like, I thought of myself as a brilliant parent. They had the ponies and they had, fun, they had everything that a child could dream about, because my thing was always about, I want to give you much more than I ever had, right? So a lot of parents have this.
That's what most people say, parents say.
Yeah, but what I didn't realize is the fact that I wasn't there because I was working so hard. There's lots of codes that gone into these children. And obviously being a parent, and like I said, I thought I was a great parent until I've discovered this thing. And then I've realized a lot of the things that I was doing or saying to my children were actually going in on a negative into the subconscious mind. Like, the fact that you just simply, go to work and leave the child constantly, it's abandonment. Okay, it's a code of abandonment. It's a code of I'm not lovable. It's a code I'm not worthy of your time. There's so many, so I just got obsessed in how do I change this? And this is what really got me into what you call the rabbit hole.
Let me ask, yeah, okay, got it. I was going to ask you, here you were, this super successful businesswoman. What made you want to go down this rabbit hole into the subconscious mind? So you just answered that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you, did you, knowing whatever you programmed in your kids, you know, giving them this, giving them ponies, whatnot, you really weren't there for them a lot because you were so busy. Did you see, were your kids reacting certain ways? Were they acting like to get your attention? Did they do certain things? Did you notice what your...
Back then, I did not. Okay, and in fact, everyone used to compliment me. I had such great, great kids, and they were all, very polite and very friendly and always happy. So I didn't see that.
They get ponies. They get ponies. Why would you?
And bunnies and a whole bunch. Like, we had a petting zoo at home. But the thing is, Rhonda, like, I deal with a lot of adults right now who are very successful in life. And what I do, I actually do search for the subconscious mind using psychology and looking at all the what I call error codes. Now, we normally go through life, especially overachievers, because I deal with a lot of people that are just like on overdrive. And we go through life and it's like, yeah, this is all, it's fantastic. Like, I had a great childhood. Because really, even if I think about my childhood originally, I thought, no, it was great, right? I had everything. My kids had everything. But a lot of people that I deal with have had pretty good childhood. Some of them haven't. And once you start digging into it, you actually find out, oh, hold on a second, that was not actually okay. It's just our mind makes everything look like that's what perfection looks like. That's what I need to replicate. So, when I do the search for the subconscious mind, a lot of people think, well, yeah, look, I'm pretty successful, but I have problem with maybe relationships or a little bit with my health or a little bit, there's something about money that's not quite working. That's what they recognize. And they think that, we can just go in and fix that one little thing. So sometimes, you might, if you have problems, you might go and speak to a psychologist and speak for the next 25 years trying to figure it out. Or, you use some modalities where, like let's say NLP or hypnosis or something just to, reverse one of the problems. Rhonda, when I do search for the subconscious mind, I find anywhere, and I'm talking successful people, anywhere between 400 to 600 error codes. You're gonna be under construction for the next 40 years, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's it.
Well, let me interject something here. I've done hypnosis for many. I mean, I believe in it. And I got qualified as a hypnosis person many, many years ago. And of course, I do many things. And I always found these people go to therapy over and over again, and they're ruminating on the same problems, making them deeper and deeper. They don't go away. And I always thought, you've got to go to the source. Where is that problem located in? And I've always found it that hypnosis was a great way to get to it until I met you and found out, wow, you've done more than hypnosis. You've taken it to the next and the next and the next level, bringing, like you said, in multiple modalities, because there's so many things in the mix that makes it work. But you took all that and you narrowed it down to one, what's the best way I can say?
Mind recode. That's what I've
mind recode.
Having experience in business, and I've grew, I had a business before that I grew from zero to $250 million in construction. So it's a massive, massive growth in a probably 15-year period. So, and then after that, I've worked with businesses as a business coach and doing the recode as well with a lot of owners. So people will just hit the glass ceiling. It's like, we only make $5 million, we can't do more. So I would come in, and I've recognized very fast it's nothing to do with business. It's to do with the thermostat that we have that doesn't allow us to go beyond that. Shift it. Okay, but one thing that I've learned dealing with businesses and business owners, especially successful people, it's all about efficiency. It's like, I want it now, I want it fast. I don't want to be speaking to somebody for 25 years about my problems. Okay, I want it fixed, and I want it fixed now. Now, also, when I started this journey, I started with my kids. Like, they grow fast, right? So it's like, how do I fix it? How do I fix it? What do I do? How do I do it? So I just went into absolute overdrive. Like, what drove me to build a massive business in a construction I've reapplied those skills into how do I learn this fast? Like, so I literally track down anyone anybody that has even mentioned psychology, quantum physics, anything to do with childhood trauma, anything to do like with anything to do with the subconscious mind. Like the second I've discovered the power of the subconscious mind, I got obsessed. So
I want that code that you have in you about driving to get something done. Just obsessed to find the answers. I want that code. Can you recode codes that you don't have?
yeah, 100%, 100%. Yes. Now this overdrive, by the way, like people that are on overdrive, and by the way, once you recognize it, you can change it, or you wish to readjust it slightly so you're not driven because you have to prove somebody right or wrong. Like my previous business, I started at the age of 23 because somebody told me I couldn't do it because I was female, I was too young, and construction is more a boy thing. And I'm like,
right,
bring it on, let me prove you wrong. Okay. But what I didn't realize later on in life when I started studying this, what I've realized is even this overdrive, it's coded. Okay. Now, what codes an overdrive? Listen to this. This is really interesting. All these people that we see as extremely successful people that are building and building and building and working and working and working. Working, by the way, is addiction as well. It's just a different type of addiction that we seem to look at as a positive. Okay, but if you actually see how it got coded in childhood, what actually happens is, like, when I look back at my childhood, again, I thought it was great until I started doing a little bit digging into it. So I grew up in a family where they had high expectations, huge expectations, right? And you were expected to do well at school. You're expected to be responsible. You know, I had a youngest sibling. You had to look after, so had to mature extremely fast. Okay. Now, on top of that, I remember when I brought a exam, I was so excited. I got, A+, I got, I don't know, 100% on it. And I was so excited to show my mum because my mum was like very, very judgmental. And it's like, you got to live up to these standards. And I run home and I show it to her and I look, I got that. And her response was, I wouldn't expect anything less from you. Now, imagine. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it just like killed your excitement. And then it's
like a balloon.
Not good enough?
Yeah, exactly. So not good enough if you get 99%, okay? I'll be asked, where's the other 1%? But if you get to 100%, which is as far as you can go, you don't get recognized for it. That's your expectation. 100% is your expectation, which means there's never really slowing down and patting on the back. And it's like, well done. There's never even that. So you've got these two codes that are driving you. Because to me, in my subconscious mind, love was being associated with overdriving, working hard, performance, constantly performing so that you live up to people's expectations. And secondly, never celebrate it. So guess what that did to me when I started in construction? It was just like, and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I was working 17-hour days. And yes, I was making a lot of money. I was, in people's eyes, I was being a successful businesswoman. Did I ever stop to celebrate? No. Like, what's
it wasn't coded in you.
No.
Right.
It was like, you have to do this in order to feel loved. Now, a lot of really successful business people don't recognize it. Okay, they don't know that's a thing. It's just like, that's the way I'm wired. I'm on overdrive and I like to achieve. And look, did I love running the business? Of course I did. But it wasn't really until I sort of looked at it and said, why? What is that's driving me? And what actually caused that is we had massive fires in Australia, and my whole family almost got wiped out. Like we lost 160 neighbors, and it just happened that our house was spared. But I remember throwing my little girls into a car and driving through paddocks trying to get out of that. This massive, like a 10-story high fire that was running our way. And I remember, to me, that was just like, when I've realized that, like, my husband actually stayed behind to save the animals. And we had next to neighbors who were adjusting horses on our property. So we had all this, expensive horses and beautiful horses, and all these owners were just arriving to grab their horses. So my husband stayed back. Now, when I was leaving, I saw my husband in the rear view mirror and those animals, and I was driving through those paddocks going, I don't even know if I'm going to see them again. So when I finally got a phone call about half an hour later after me driving away from that, and and he told me, look, we've managed to get out, all the animals are out, all the neighbors are out, everybody's out of there. I just had a meltdown. I literally just pulled up on the side of a road, and I'm like, here I was working.
I have chills in that story.
Yeah, so I was working.
Good on your husband. I love him for staying back with the animals.
I know. We had about 30 different animals, but that's when I've sort of had a wake up call. It's like, what am I doing? Like, I could have just lost my family. And you know what? What actually got me to get out of there so late? It was Sunday, and it was a hot day, so we had curtains drawn, and the video was on. Air conditioner was some video, so it wasn't attached to any television or radio. So we had so kids were watching a video, and I was on the phone to my lawyers because I was doing another deal. Sunday, I was still working even when I was at home, and because I was working, I was on this phone. Nobody could get through to me, and it was only when I hung up the phone and somebody rang, and it was my neighbor saying, are you at home? We're picking up, we're sending a whole bunch of people to pick up horses. I'm like, why? And she said,
oh my gosh, I didn't even know. This is
not seen. She said, you have not seen what's outside your window. And I literally pulled up the curtains, and I saw this massive fire raging, running our way.
That is so mind-blowing, that is.
So that to me is the turning point of my life. It's like, what the heck am I doing? Like, why? Why do I need to do it this way? I could have just lost my family. And in fact, like I said, we lost 160 neighbors. So to me, that was a wake-up call. And it was a turning point in my life.
Wow. Well, I'm glad. I mean, that's a kind of a tragic story in a sense, but a good story. And what's come out of it is what you're doing now, and helping people open their minds to their potential. And that most of this was not our fault, that most of this is all programming.
You know what, Rhonda? This is really important what you just said. I think that if there was one message that I want anyone to get out of this, is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Okay, and we go through life blaming ourselves for not being able to achieve certain things. Okay, my relationships are being stuffed up, my money doesn't work, or my health, and you keep on blaming yourself for that. I'll tell you the difference. What the subconscious mind does, it just throws handbrakes. It's a protective mechanism. So if there's something that you cannot do, it's not because you haven't tried. Like I said, I work with a lot of people that are into personal development. They constantly learn, and 10 steps to this, and got 50 million books, go to all these seminars, spend money. This is one of the reasons why I started this. Yeah, because I've just seen how much money people are spending on personal development, which, by the way, has great intentions. But personal development, 99% of it is on conscious level. It's like, I want to learn something, so I'm going to go to seminar. I'll spend a few $1,000s and just learn how to start up a business. Okay, and then you go and start it, and then you feel, oh, this is really hard. Or sometimes it's easy at the beginning. It's like the bullet train, the subconscious mind, this powerful mechanism that's standing there going, okay, Rhonda, go for a run. Go see if you can try it. Okay, and then allows us, it's almost like there's an elastic band, and it allows you to go in and try different things, but it's an elastic band that's like keeping you here. Okay, it's a handbrake. So you go and try, and it gets harder and harder, and it's almost like you're running, and just, it's getting harder, and then something happens. Okay, whether you lose money, or you meet somebody that's going to take advantage of you, or something, you get sick, something that we think we blame the outside world. All it simply is the subconscious mind. You're running too far away from this thermostat, from this handbrake, and it's going to bring an experience to actually prove you correct. But the correct thing in the subconscious mind is, let's say, fear of failure, or I'm afraid to, it could be anything, or I'm not good enough. And it's going to be proving you correct constantly.
That's very interesting that you say that about, you go and go and go. Let's say I've tried different courses and then I get really excited and I start something, and then I lose interest or I stop and I don't know why, you know. Now it's funny. I've started my own little companies before, and I've gotten so far and it's been so good, and then I lose interest and I'm like, why? No, how far can you go until the handbrake hits and you don't know why, like you said?
Yeah. You know, you can go, it depends how much determination you have. So if you've got the overdrive code in, which is literally like, so another metaphor to use, you know, I like to use a metaphor of we are like a Ferrari. Okay, most people drive that Ferrari with 300 handbrakes on, super powerful handbrakes. And when you've got an overdrive, you're pushing the pedal all the way to the floor. Okay, and the engine's doing this. So sometimes if you're pushing it fast enough, far enough, it will override those handbrakes. It will push, 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 push until it burns out. Okay, until the engine can't cope with those handbrakes anymore and you go into meltdown. So a lot of successful people
Like we burn out? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Burnout.
Yeah.
We push so far and then it's just like,
That's it. Because those handbrakes, that's it. So
yeah.
sometimes you can push through it and it will just burn, you know, and you just simply burn out, or, you know, your health, something starts happening with your health, or something will happen that will self-sabotage, that will sabotage this venture.
Nope.
And all it is, like seriously, handbrakes, foot all the way to the ground and just doing this. Or let's say, for example, if you're doing this and the drive is not as hard, okay, it will just go, okay, I'm just going to lose interest. Okay, and slowly, and the subconscious mind's got a really cool tricks up its sleeve. It'll go, look, Rhonda, there's something else you can do. And you go, that's a great idea. Okay, so the mind goes, it's like, I want to try this. Okay, what you just didn't realize is the subconscious trick to distract you, to protect you from fear of failure, or protect you from fear of success, or fear of something else. There's like so many of these. Like I said, you know, when I do search, find anywhere between 3 to 6, probably 4 to 600 error codes, and it could be one of those that will trip you over.
Wow. I mean, those are a lot of error codes that we have inside of us that is kind of governing our life that we don't know, right? You know, there's something else about the subconscious mind, and I want to talk a little bit about pain, how pain shows up in your life. And it's very interesting, like you say, the mind speaks to the body, and it gives pain. If there's something going on, the mind will speak to the body, and pain will occur. We'll have pain. We pop a pain pill, don't listen to what's going on, and move on until we get it again, over and over. What is happening in there with the subconscious?
That's a really good question, Rhonda. You know, anything, so subconscious constantly communicates with us. Okay, another way of looking at the subconscious mind, another one, you know, this is another metaphor I guess I use. It's like a genie in a bottle. Okay, it wants to work for you, but because of the codes, it actually does something different to what we want it to do. Okay, now it communicates with us through emotions. So initially, like, you know, if you're doing something that doesn't feel right, we don't learn to recognize it. Okay, any emotions that are trapped inside the body are just simply communications from the subconscious mind. Okay, so if, let's say, for example, you're doing something and it doesn't feel right, it's actually letting you know, the subconscious is letting you know there is a code in here that's bringing this experience. You need to recode this. That's what it's telling you. Okay, but with emotions, we sort of go, oh, I'm just not feeling well. I'm just going to, you know, cry a little bit. I've just, you know, I don't know. And a lot of people that are successful sometimes just simply are sad. Okay, it's a learned behavior by the subconscious mind. So, but anyway, let's say, for example, we feel these emotions and we don't know how to deal with it, so we just like push through. Okay, some people who don't have this massive drive will go into, you know, into sadness and eventually into depression or into anxiety. Okay, subconscious will throw you. But let's say if you push through the emotions, subconscious, so it's almost like subconscious is knocking on the door, goes, hey, Rhonda, we've got a problem with this. Can we deal with this? Okay, but we're not trained to listen to it. So the next thing it does is, if there is a lot of emotions, subconscious mind is like, hey, I really need you, conscious mind, the boss, to deal with this. Okay, so it's like knocking on the door. And again, we're not hearing it, so it will actually start affecting different body organs. Okay, and that is actually communication. So pain, and I know it's for some people that's going to be, terrible to hear this, but pain is an illusion. It's just communication from the subconscious mind. Okay, it's like banging on the door, going like, let's say, for example, if you keep on getting this thing on the shoulder, like shoulder pains, etc., and we experience it because something we have done that caused these. We're not looking at it properly. That experience has happened because the code has brought that experience in to make you realize that there is something going on here. Shoulder, like rotation, it's anger. Okay, it's like you want to punch somebody. It's an anger that's not expressed, so it's sitting in the body. Now you keep on doing what you're doing, and eventually you're going to get chronic pain. Okay, if you don't deal with this. Now, what do we do with pain? Pop a pill. Let's Band-aid it, right? Let's put it, like, let's say, if the subconscious is telling us, like, the neural pathways, it's like the phone is ringing. It's like, Rhonda, we've got a problem with this. And what are you doing is hang up the phone. That's what the painkillers, that's what they do, hang up the phone. So how are you going to receive the message? Subconscious mind will do something else that's going to expand it. Okay, one, it will give you chronic pain. If you're not dealing with it, even if you keep on getting medication, subconscious is even more powerful. Okay, so it's going to bring it up, or it will cause disease. Okay, because it will just keep on raking this organ to actually make you aware that this is going on. So Western medicine is great. However, a lot of it's dealing with the actual symptoms. It's not dealing with
the cause. You're right.
Not dealing with the actual cause. I mean, perfect example. You get a flu, okay, and you start, sneezing or something. Your body wants to get rid of something, okay. But it also gives you communication that this is how things are actually getting in. There's emotions in here that are causing it, okay. And then let me just see if I can help you by getting rid of this body. So what do? Take medication to put it back in, so you don't sneeze, so you just push it back into.
You don't get rid of it. Wow. When you look at it that way, so you're saying that everything is caused by emotion. I mean, basically, well, in your subconscious, what is the codes in your mind.
Yeah.
So really,
actually, so to take that step further, yes, it's emotion, but it's also what causes emotion is a thought. Okay, it's like a two-sided coin. On one side, there is thinking, and the other side has emotion. Every thought carries an emotion, every single one of them. Okay, now, a lot of people sort of go out there and, when they start doing personal development, they hear constantly our thoughts create our reality. That's partially correct. Okay, what I disagree with is they are never our thoughts to start with. Everything that we think has been coded, has been thrown into the subconscious mind.
That is a huge distinction. That is wow, I never thought of it like that. Thought. That's a huge distinction. Well, our thoughts create our reality, which is a pretty well-known now phrase that people say, well, your thoughts cause your reality. But what causes those thoughts?
That's it.
And so this programming.
So it's sort of like when you keep on thinking, okay, my thoughts create my reality. If I keep on thinking that, I'm going to live my life being really upset with myself that I'm not doing good enough job in thinking myself into a better reality. Okay, some people can find it easy to do it if they have the codes in the subconscious that support it. That's why, when you hear about this manifesting thing, if your subconscious is aligned with it, you just think it, that's it, done. Okay, you can achieve it. However, if you're thinking it and you're not achieving it, it's your code in the subconscious mind. And what I really want to give people a permission is to stop blaming yourself. Okay, stop being so harsh on yourself. It's nothing to do with you. It's the code that has been coded in. Now that doesn't give you it gets you off the hook for doing terrible things. Okay, because
Right.
people go like, oh, well, it's not my fault, it's my subconscious, right? Now, once you know about it, it's your job to change it. Okay, you weren't aware of it. I want to give you permission to stop blaming yourself. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you as a person. Somebody just threw in some codes in the subconscious mind that are causing it. Okay, all you have to do is just go back, find out what those codes are, and change them. Okay, once you change them, your whole reality changes, because suddenly the thoughts that you start thinking are different, and it's going to bring different experiences into your life.
Well, let's jump into recoding then. How do we recode? What kind of a process is that? Is it easy? Does it take a long time? Is it permanent? What can you tell people about, are people going to say, is it scary to mess with my mind?
Put it this way, you cannot mess any more than what you already have. Okay, if you know what you're doing, actually, that's it. Right? Because any of the codes that you will put in will be a positive codes, so you can control that. You actually, consciously can control it. But being able to, it's almost like if you could just simply bring out all these codes and put them on the table, and you just go, oh, I like this one, I'm going to keep this one. Nope, don't like that one. Keep this one, throw this one out. Okay, if you could have an ability to do that, how much of a power would that be?
Huge.
Yeah. So this is why, like, I've created a program that will do it in 5 days for you. Okay, now when I say 5 days, not 5 full days, I run 5-day challenges, 1 hour per day, that really goes into understanding, first of all, understanding what the subconscious mind is and the power of it. Okay, and really, it's super complex. And really, if you dive into anything, learning of the neuroscience behind it, or the quantum physics behind it, or or the psychology, super, super complex. But what I have done is combine all of these and brought it back to just most important things. Like, let's get all the jargon, the technical jargon out of the way. It is complex, but it's very, very logical. It's so logical. Right now, we've got programs that we're teaching 8-year-olds how to understand the mind, and they can get it, you can get it. So the whole idea was, how do you get this complexity, bring it back into something that's simple? So like in the 5 days, I teach you day one how the subconscious actually works. So all the input, output. Okay. Second day, we'll teach you all about how the subconscious manipulates. Okay. You know how sometimes you get have you ever been guilt tripped into doing something, Rhonda?
Of course.
That's it. Doesn't feel good, does it?
What code is that? I'm sure there's an error code in there. Yeah.
In the 5-day challenge, I actually will show you what causes it. So the subconscious actually chooses different manipulations to get the significance. So like when you had lots of siblings or a couple of people around, subconscious wants to be different from everybody else. That's why you're different to your siblings, always. Okay, because subconscious will say, okay, how do I get love? Okay, forget about everybody else. It's like, I need to stand out somehow. So, one sibling becomes super smart. The other one's great at sport. Another one's super creative. Okay, so, and they become different. So the different masks that subconscious will put it like a protective mask for you. And then manipulations. So now how do I manipulate it? Yeah. So we dive into that. So it's really fascinating stuff that you learn. Third day, we'll talk about, and also health and, self-love and things like that. Talk about money, talk about relationships. Like, gosh, if you think it's complex in one person, just imagine 2 people in a relationship. You got 2 conscious minds, 2 subconscious minds. Wow, this is why we get so many problems, okay? But if you understand that and recode it, you can have beautiful relationship. You can easily get money. And be able to just play with the energy of money, because it's so, so powerful and it's so simple. And then, obviously, so health, wealth, and obviously relationships and relationships with people, like any problems that you normally deal with, we will go through the whole process. And I'll take you through these things that allows you to extract your beliefs. So I'll take you through a process where you will very quickly learn what are the beliefs that are sitting in your subconscious mind? And often they are different to what we think they are, right? So it's like when you, yeah.
I was just saying, is there codes in someone where they go in here and there's all this stuff talking about the subconscious mind, but they have such a fear that their subconscious mind isn't listening?
Well, the subconscious is always listening. It's always listening. And in fact, on day 5, I take you through the communication. How do you communicate with your own subconscious mind? Because often, like, again, it's like a genie in a bottle that's been sitting there all your life, wanting to do something for you, but because you've never communicated with it, it just simply goes on whatever codes it has. The second you start communicating with it and instructing it to change the codes, it will do it for you. So, I teach you, like even during the 5-day challenge, I teach you how to fall asleep like this. I mean, people that come in with insomnias for years, one command and you can fall asleep. And I'll teach you exactly how, what are words to use, what are words not to use with the subconscious mind.
Can you just shoot a few of those words out there so we know we can start now?
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. One of the things my absolute pet hate is affirmations. Okay, now a lot of people, teach about affirmations. You got to repeat this over and over, like,
I'm wealthy, healthy. I'm wealthy,
yeah,
wealthy, wealthy,
yeah,
healthy, healthy, healthy.
yeah.
In
Like,
front of a mirror 10 times a day. You mean it doesn't work? Obviously, it hasn't yet.
all you're going to do is just have an argument in your own head, because you say, I am wealthy, and your little character will go, no, you're not. You haven't got this, you haven't got this, you haven't got. So you're just going to create argument in your own head. Okay, this is why what I teach you is how do you bypass the conscious mind and go straight into the subconscious. So that's one thing. But some of the words that we use.
Anna, let me interject something about that. When you talk, let's say something, you say, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy. And I agree, you can look in the mirror 100 times. But I can remember times when I wasn't very wealthy and I went to Bermuda with a friend her parents were wealthy, and she bought a $1,500 tag watch. And I had like a little, I don't know, Sunbeam one that probably cost $10. And I was looking and there was a watch, it was an Bell watch, and it was $959, like it's almost $1,000. Now I'm working now, barely making what, $30,000. And I looked at that watch and I'm like, wow, I love that watch. For some reason, I just went out on a limb and bought the watch. And at work, it made me feel I was so important. It made me feel wealthy. It made me do that. And do you know what was really interesting? I got a check in the mail for $900 out of the blue that happened for a work injury a while back. But I'm saying by wearing it, I was feeling wealthy and things were coming to me. Did that change a code?
Potentially. So it could have either changed the code, or what's more likely is that you already had the right codes, you just never took action to show the subconscious that that's the way you want to go. Okay, so this is the difference with, like, visualization. So, a lot of people teach about visualizing. If you visualize enough, you're going to get it.
Right.
Subconscious responds to images extremely easily. Okay, so if images and feelings, so it's like constantly watches you, what the conscious mind will do. Okay, so if you, let's say, for example, see this watch and say, I could never afford it, there is a code that just goes in and cancels any order in the future from anything like this. Okay, and it will lower the thermostat to what you're capable of achieving. Okay, the second you go, that's exactly, I deserve this, it makes me feel good and I love it. Okay, the subconscious mind goes, all right, well, bring it in. Okay, and there's so many different ways that it's not necessarily increasing your income. It could be just a check that suddenly arrives from somewhere. Things like this do happen. So now, in your case, there's a chance that you already had a code which was supportive of that. It's just you've never really took that leap of faith before, right? But in this case, you did, and it just simply followed you. Now, one of the things in one of the days that I teach is how do you, like money, there's just so much abundance around us. It's literally like air, okay? And you just simply breathe it in and breathe it out. Money's, it's exactly the same. It's just an energy. Everything, it's energy on quantum physics perspective, right?
Yes.
So is money. But the thing is, if you have codes in there that says, I need to block the amount that I'm taking in, it's not going to let it in. Okay, now if the code is supportive of you to be able to just take it in and play with it, play with the energy of money, then what's required is that vision. This is what I'm after. Okay, this is what I'd like to experience. It's almost like, if you were to just go for a run, if let's say you're standing right now, you just X amount of, oxygen comes into your lungs. The second you make a decision and start running, there's more oxygen that comes into your lungs automatically. Okay, you can do the same thing with money. Now, the reason why there's no more money coming in is because you've never made a decision to start running. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They don't go, that's the watch that that I'm going to have, and I'm going to love it, and I'm going to experience the value of myself that I match this. Okay, so it's
opposed to saying someday I'll get that watch. Someday. Yeah. So that someday will never come because you're always putting it out in the future that you don't deserve it now. Right. Or
and subconscious mind only works in present tense. If you set goals that I'm going to be rich in, at the end of next year or at the end of the year, I'm going to have that much money. What you're actually saying to subconscious mind is, I don't have it. That goes in as a code, as an instruction for the subconscious mind. So you're always going to be thinking about getting money in a future tense. So you're always going to be in this wanting mode or waiting mode. I mean, this is one of the biggest things that I see with affirmations. Like people use the words, I am healing, for example. Please don't ever use that. Healing is a process. It's not, I am healthy. Okay, I am healthy. The subconscious mind goes, oh yeah, no, I get it. Okay, yep, I'm healthy. I can organize this for you because it controls 50 trillion cells. The second you say, I am healing, the subconscious mind goes, oh, I better bring you something to heal from, because it actually thinks that you're wanting the experience of healing.
Experience of, that is a really good point.
That's right. Massive. And there are so many words that we use on conscious level that it's like, let's say, for example, if, there's this has been going on for years in personal development. It's like every day I'm getting better and better. Okay, well, on a conscious level, it makes a lot of sense, right? You know what that does on subconscious level? Subconscious mind levels goes, oh, okay, so I cannot be perfect to start with. Let me just bring it back so you can go through the experience of slowly reversing that improvement.
A death by 1,000 cuts.
I know, right? So it's it's like, I am perfect. Like literally you need to take the future tense and bring it and insert it. And it's like that massive belief that you're already there. Okay, the massive belief that you already deserve that watch right now.
And you have to have that. You have to have that belief right now, even though you tell someone, even though you feel like you don't have it. If like someone says, I'm not rich, I don't have a lot of money. You have to feel like you have a lot of money. You have to,
and
because if I don't have, or just like someone says, I wish that will happen, or it'll someday, or it might, then all those words make it not happening at the moment.
That's it.
Keeps you from it, right? So
it's really, it's a fine line with the subconscious mind, and it's shift in thinking, shift in the way that we actually perceive world. Because we look around and go, you might say, I don't have this, I don't have that. Okay, what are you actually doing? So subconscious mind is just ordering experiences for you constantly, based on your beliefs. So if you say you don't have it, okay, it will just bring more experiences to prove that to be correct. Okay, prove it correct. But if you really have this,
No. Do you think And I was just saying, bringing you experiences, do you think like the media has a part in it where they're always putting things out there,
Don't get
you
me
know?
started on media. All right.
Well,
Number
since I worked in it for so long, I can tell you.
Well, I hate to say this, but number one rule to happiness, switch off your television,
I agree.
right?
Especially since I used to
Yeah,
work in news.
yeah. I'll tell you what, Rhonda, I mean, the thing is, not a lot of people know the stuff that I teach, okay? There's probably maybe 1% of people that truly understand this. Now, most of
Mhm.
them are people that work in media, as in marketing. So marketing is massive, okay? Because marketing can pretty much make you buy things that you don't really.
Manipulation.
Yes, it's just simply how that's. They don't know it to the level that I teach us in with recoding and things like that, but they know if I pull this string, that's how you're going to react. If I say this is how you're going to react. Okay, so just by simply, and media sells based on bad news. So if I, yeah. Now this is also a really important point to understand is the second I get you into fear of anything, if I put a seed that there is something, boogeyman around the corner that's gonna get into your body, the second I get you to believe this, your body responds. And the way that it responds is goes into fight and flight response. It's like, I gotta watch out. The second your body goes into fight and flight response, you have no immune system in operation.
Right,
Because
right.
all the little soldiers that are there to protect you, or the body cells, the immune system, go into, I need to put all energy into fight and flight, into like, I gotta be running, I gotta run from something. Okay, now
That's
pay attention to what's on the news constantly. Fight and flight, fight and flight, fight and flight, fight. Most people are in fight and flight response, and this is why we're getting sick.
Yeah,
They
I
can get
couldn't
the
agree.
vibration down, okay, from the overdrive, bring it
Mhm.
down into the relaxed state, and actually insert this belief that I am safe. Your whole life changes. Okay, so rule number one, switch off television.
That, it's so funny because people used to say to me, Rhonda, how come there's no good news? And I say, because good news doesn't sell. They've trained you into that, that fear. And so you hold on to that. And then they say the same thing over and over again, where, for example, there was the freeway killer, and they talked about it so much that more people became freeway killers. All of a sudden, everyone, so it's just between all the media mind manipulation, the government mind manipulation, what is the best thing that we can teach people to be aware of that we can protect us from all
Do you know, I think we put a lot of
programming.
emphasis on other people manipulating us. Okay, we're giving them power to manipulate us because we have trigger points that can be manipulated. How you win this game is not by fighting people on the outside, it's removing those trigger points from your body and understanding
That's
how your own subconscious mind works. I kind of see people like, this is my keyboard, right? It's like literally walking around with buttons outside, and anyone that can press it, you react to it. Okay, they say something and you get angry. They do this and you react. Okay, that's how people walk around with these keyboards outside. Just press my button, and see how I'm going to react. Okay, you remove this, and they can do anything they want. You will not be triggered by it. Okay, and because you don't get triggered, first of all, your immune system, your body just heals naturally. And secondly, you actually start experiencing, it's almost like, I sometimes compare this to almost like a radio. There's different radio stations. It's like millions of radio stations, but you can only hear one at a time. And it's
right.
what you're doing is changing channel to a different channel. Does that mean that all the other ones don't exist? Does that mean that there's some idiot on a highway, on a freeway doing something? No, that doesn't mean that. Do you get to experience it personally? As in seeing, hearing? No, you will not actually experience that. Like let's say if you grew up in a family where, there was always talk about people are racist, right? This is one of the subjects that media loves throwing on the
Oh,
table.
they love to
We can all
say it.
fight, okay? And we will fight because everybody has had different experience in life. So if I grew up in an environment where everybody's just been, not even, okay, not necessarily grew up, but I have recoded in my mind that everybody's loving, generous, beautiful souls, okay? Will I ever come across anything that's racist? No, to me, that's like, it's impossible, okay? In my mind, do I know it exists? Yes, but not on my channel. Okay, I never get to experience this. I never, people that I work with are from all over the world, from all different religions and different shapes, and you name it, from every continent. And to me, everybody's absolutely 100% equal. And it's just a soul that's experiencing life through different bodies. So that's
That's a whole other subject to get into, the soul of how I love it. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So, but let's say, for example, if there was a talk about it when we were a child, you will be seeing this all the time because it's a confirmation. So the mind, when it slows down to just being a thinking mind, it's like this is a 40 bits a second. The subconscious is 40 million bits a second. So suddenly all the processing power of everything that we're experiencing is slow in comparison. Before, it was like literally open. Anybody who walks past can just dump some, beliefs, and the child will take it in. Okay, the subconscious will take it in. Later on, it gets selective, but it only selects what it already knows. It's called confirmation bias. So in psychology, there's 150 different biases that the mind uses, shortcuts, so you don't have to be processing everything all the time. So it's, you don't blow your mind literally. So it just gets, gets a little bit slower. So yeah, so like, let's say, for example, if there's a code in here that says people are sexiest, you will be experiencing this all the time. You'll go through experiences in your life to prove that to be correct. If like, for example, yeah, like let's say, I grew up where, my mom was very, real businesswoman, and it's like, this is men's world and you got to push through. And that's what I copy pasted. So I was working in construction.
That's what you did. You started a business in a men's world.
That's it.
Right?
It's
and
like,
driven.
that's it. And it was like, like the belief of dog eat dog. It's like you got to compete. Competition is also on the subconscious level. When you recode it, there's no need for competition, because competing simply means I'm not good enough. I need to prove myself. Okay, once the result is not good enough, there's no need for competition. Okay, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just become collaborative. You start working with people and just making this world a better place, and just, like you literally just live, go through life, just enjoying every moment, and, enjoying being present.
Which most people don't. We're so preoccupied to do this, to do that, to make this, and we don't realize. But you've really hit the hammer on the nail. The root of the problem is what we've been coded. That's the root. And to change it is to recode it. And working with you at the Quantum Mind Academy, I've been through the 5-day challenge, so people don't know that. I can't recommend it enough. It opens your mind, it blows your mind, it makes you realize things that you never realized before, and how so many of these reactions that you have are not your fault. It's just a reaction. It's like touching a hot stove, it reacts.
Yeah.
So I encourage, I tell everybody I know, if you really want to get a grip on your life to the highest ability that you can be, you've got to act now and jump into Anna's programs. I mean, there's just no other way to conquer all the things that we have: fear, sickness, worry, not good enough. And I think the biggest thing, Anna, is love, learning self-love, to love yourself.
Yeah.
Once you love yourself, you don't search for it. You don't search for it everywhere. Try to pull it in.
Yeah, this is where just the concept of really understanding existence in life we sort of look at the outside world and we think that things are happening on the outside. So we constantly look for something on the outside. I want to find somebody who loves me. I want to bring
Mhm.
somebody into me. I want to, and it's always about wanting, okay? Because we feel so disconnected. When you actually realize that it's the other way around, you already have everything within you. You just need to open those doors, the doors to self-love. It's not out there. The door's only open this way. Okay, you love when you feel loving.
Mhm.
You make money when you feel wealthy. And it all comes from you and then brings the experiences into your life to prove it correct. Okay, so it's an inside job. That's, if I could just summarize
That's
it.
a perfect and inside job. Exactly.
So,
I'm stealing it.
yeah, you do
You know,
that.
this is the kind of teaching we need to young kids in school,
Oh,
you
right,
know?
I have no idea. Like, seriously, sometimes when I mean, obviously, I listen to people's stories every single day when I do the recode, and it's so heartbreaking. Like, the stuff that the kids have gone through. Parents, seriously, parents should do this as a license before they become parents. Like, you literally, you need a license to drive and a license to, do, haircuts on dogs. If licenses for everything, who gives us license to have kids? Okay, we don't actually have any training. This is so crucial to understand for
Wow,
parents. They
that's
just don't understand, like there's so much damage that's being done to kids and it's not intentional. A lot of it's not intentional. Like let's say, for example, I used to be one of his parents that would be, they do the reverse psychology. It's like, come on, you can do better than that, right? What I'm actually saying to my child is you're not good enough. You're not good enough
right, right.
unless you achieve
And
that.
that's what sticks with you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So like you said, you talk to so many different people doing the recodes, and it's heartbreaking to hear where all their problems, but those were all implanted. They were implanted, like you said, not intentionally, but by their own behaviors. And so all we're trying to do is catch up. All we're trying to do is be loved, be accepted. So I do this and I'll be accepted.
Yeah.
It's
It's again, if you compare it to a computer program, right? Let's say you've got this massive computer that's like the best computer in the world in front of you, right? And here you are frustrated and banging on the keyboard saying, this is not working, this is stupid computer, it doesn't work. Have you ever seen like grandparents when they try to, learn they've got this newest Mac and they, this is not working, and they just, this is stupid, okay, and they walk away from it. What they don't realize is, first of all, they don't know how to use it properly. Okay, so if somebody sits down and say, if you press this button, this is what it does. If you do this, and in fact, let me have a look at your lifestyle and see if I can change some of those programs so they make it easy for you. That is what we're doing with recoding. It's what's funny is like you pick up your phone, and you literally every quarter or every few months you're asked, do you want to upgrade the system that's running it? And you press it and it upgrades it. Okay, do you know that you are running on the program from when you were 7 years old? We literally have our world is run by 7-year-olds. Can you imagine that? That's it. Because most of the stuff that's in their mind, the way that we react, is 7-year-olds, okay, or even earlier, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. And anything that new that you have learned, guess where you've learned it from? From another 7-year-old. This is why the world is so reactive. It's just mind blowing when you realize that. But once you actually take charge of that and say, that's it, there's something I don't enjoy experiencing in my life. Let me just see if I can go back to the code and change it. You change that code and your whole experience of life changes. It's so, so powerful. I can't even, It's just.
I know. I get excited about you just talking about it. I mean, that's a perfect analogy. A phone. We all upgrade our phones, but we never upgrade ourselves. Never.
Yeah.
Right? We're an upgrade.
Most of us don't even know that we have an algorithm that's operating us, right? And this is probably the reason why.
I think it'd be fun to make a little documentary, The World Run by 7-Year-Olds,
Ah, I love it.
right?
Oh, I mean, look at around the world, and you'll see all these 7-year-olds arguing. You know,
Exactly. I mean, I think that would be, I'm
and
going to think
you
about
know, like I seriously, I think that sometimes media is just taking a mickey out of that and just simply going, what else can we get those 7-year-olds to argue about? Let's put racism on the table. Let's put, you know, or
climate change. Let's put this, let's make fear. I mean, all these things, if people look, all these things from the COVIDs, the climate, we have pollution, but the earth is not going to turn over and die tomorrow. They put fear because what fear doesn't work for a while, they'll switch to a different, or they're going to come up with a new one.
oh yes, rebranding it. Okay, you want,
Rebranding.
yeah, you want to, you know, get people, okay, should we be straight? Should we be gay? Let's throw that on the table. Let's argue. Okay, should we? And usually choosing topics that are really, you know, like people feel passionate about. These are the topics that get thrown on the table. You know, should we allow Indigenous people to do something? What a stupid question. They're humans, of course we should, right? But hey, if we throw it on the table, let them argue, right? Now, while they're arguing, what they don't realize is, well, we, you know, reshuffling this regulations that we get. It's like
Republicans, Democrats, get them going at each other the whole time, and look what we're doing in the background.
That's it.
Like
the next time somebody throws something on the table for you to argue about, what you need to do is just say, rather than argue about it, like if you don't have those buttons anymore, you just go, I wonder why that got being thrown in. It's almost like a magician that's, you know, it's doing this with a hand while something else is happening here, right?
yeah,
So all this thing you see in the media is just this, okay? Switch it off. Switch it off, and then you'll actually be able to see it. But you know, it's not about, again, this is not about a war against media or war against whatever. And this is, by the way, you asked me before, you know, what are the words not to ever use with the subconscious mind? Subconscious looks at it visually. Okay, so every word that you say gets converted into an image. Now, there is no image for don't. So if I say, or anti, okay, so I want you to think right now about an anti-pink elephant.
I see the pink elephant.
Okay. What if I say, don't think of a pink elephant?
I just thought of it. So how can I not think of it?
All right, so I might say something on conscious level, which for the conscious mind is like, well, yeah, no, I agree. You know, anti-terrorism, of course, I agree. But what's got into your subconscious mind is the opposite. Okay, so the second it goes in, subconscious has to find ways to prove it to be correct. So the whole movement of anti-terrorism has created terrorism. Now, have you ever this is really funny. Have you ever purchased anti-wrinkle cream or anti-aging cream?
Yes, of course.
That's what that does to your body. I'm not talking about the ingredients. The ingredients could be great. Get what it actually does for your subconscious mind. It will automatically trigger aging in your body. Okay,
because it doesn't, the word anti, there's no image to it.
No.
Right?
Conscious think, okay, we're aging.
You're buying wrinkle cream.
Yeah, pretty much.
So even when you put it on, your subconscious mind.
Yeah, you might have the perfect ingredients in it. Okay, subconscious mind is so powerful. Like, you know, that there is this thing about, like, let's say, you know, if your belief, like if you look into epigenetics, the mind controls most of the reactions. So you might have, you know, blue pill, red pill. They're both, you know, they could be just sugar pills. But if I tell you that the blue pill is going to fix something, and the other one I'll say, and they could be the same, and the other one I'll say this will cause something. Okay, if you watch those two people, what actually happens to them? They believe it. They could be two sugar pills, nothing in it. Okay, just the sugar lollies, but the cause will actually happen because it suddenly goes in. That's what's supposed to happen, right? We are aging because we believe that that's a thing. Okay, everybody believes, and media keeps on selling you stuff that, so in order for them to sell you stuff, they need to make you believe that that's what happens first. Make you fear that. The second you fear that, then you got to buy a product that's going to fix it.
That is,
Mind blowing.
yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Wow,
So it's quite interesting. I mean, I've watched a really interesting TED talk the other day about a lady who I don't remember her name, and in fact, I don't know if she really wants that TED talk to really be public anymore, because she didn't even get a clap from it. But she was talking. She works in neuromarketing, and how let's say they sell us products. Let's say animal products that, what we think about, free range. So they use the words that make us feel good. Okay. But free range could also simply mean it's not just sitting in a cage, but just because there's 50 million of them in a little room, okay, it's still free range, right? So they use the words that make us feel good.
Right.
And we're also trained not to really look into things. It's like, as long as you make me feel good, I'm going to buy it. And it's just things and things and things like that.
Well, isn't that kind of like Coke? Have a Coke and a smile. You're always happy. So, if you drink, so the thought is if you drink Coke, you'll be happy, even though it's the worst thing for you, in a sense. I mean, it's not a healthy thing, but it has nothing to do actually with healthy. It's just saying, if you drink this, it'll be happy. So people are going to go buy this to be happy. They're buying happiness in a can, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So that's what I mean by this kind of understanding of the way that we react on a subconscious level. It's taught at schools in marketing. Okay, it's called neuromarketing. So a lot of people that sell us stuff right now, people that, like there are people that, they make massive amount of dollars being hired by companies in how do we word this properly. Okay, so these are people that will go, okay, yes, let's link this with this. Let's link this with that. We're linking on a subconscious level. You won't even know about it. You just love the smiling people that are running around and, having happy life.
We don't know about most things. That's marketing is mostly on a subconscious level, 100%. I mean, there's a whole book on the buying brain. Yeah. What makes you buy things. It has nothing to do with, it's not real, it's all, in fact, companies hired marketing people hired psychologists that could work people's minds opposed to just good ideas.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I mean by neuromarketing. So it's based on psychology. So really, just getting to, rather than getting angry with them, okay, take the reins back by learning about how your own subconscious mind works. The second you learn, so, like with the trainings that I do, I don't just simply go, oh, let me just hypnotize you and fix it up. Okay, because that's might fix one problem, two problems, but it's not really going to make a massive difference to your life. I mean, depending what it is that you fix, it might, but on a scale of things that are being triggered by, it's just one thing, one in a stay hack. So little, what I call it, needle in a stay hack. But when you actually learn the way that it operates, it's like learning how to fish. Okay, and being able to pick it up. So let's say you've done training, and then you go 5 years down the track, you're hearing something, it's like, no, you're not going to play with that. Okay, so it just gives you this protection of not being able to, just constantly be bombarded by stuff. Like I've inserted my codes in my subconscious mind that, my subconscious mind knows that I'm the only one who can instruct it, which means that if I hear anything from television, which, by the way, subconscious can actually hear things from another room and can hear things that are very low volume. It's called subliminal messaging. Now that is constantly used by media. Okay, apparently it's illegal all the time. I mean, if you ever go back to like this, even the COVID when it started, I remember picking it up straight away because I'm so trained to picking up sounds that are almost, you almost cannot hear, but I'm
Mhm.
trained to be able to pick it up. And it's like there was current affair or one of the news that, what we had here in Australia. And I said to my husband, can you put the volume up really high? And he did that. Now, can you hear there's a sound underneath, which is from a horror movie? So can you hear that?
Really?
Yeah. And I said, what that does automatically puts you into fight and flight response automatically because you're trying to do that. Okay. So you could literally be running news and just saying beautiful things. And somebody saved the cats and all these beautiful things. You put that music underneath, your body's in fight and flight response. So
Wow.
many different things that can manipulate us. But learning about it, you'll be able to pick it up. First of all, you'll be able to go back and go, nah, stuff it. Let me just bring all the codes on the table. I like this one. I don't like this one. Decide what you want to decide what you want to add to it to give you the lifestyle that you want. Subconscious is a brilliant program, and it has been designed to protect you. However, what it didn't realize is that our world wasn't perfect to start with. And so what it coded was things that just picked up stuff that it was irrelevant and it might have protected you at the time, but it doesn't make you thrive. You can actually change from that to be a protective mechanism to actually getting your mind to be your biggest fan and getting your mind to just go and get you stuff that you really, really would want to do with no limitations. It's pretty. It's
I
just
think,
yeah.
I think for this conversation, all that you're listening, how could you not want to jump in? How could you not want to take the reins of your own mind?
Yeah,
Uh,
look, I really seriously, I think every human being should go for this recode. Not because I'm running it, but like I can see the difference in people, what difference it makes to people's lives. And if we're going to change the world, it's not by fighting; it's by simply taking the reins into our hands and recoding. So you're not actually, so you're starting experience of life on a different level. And yeah, and so
yeah,
subconscious mind
but
just stops you from living your life. Like when you think about it, it's beautiful energy that's powering us. Whatever it is, call it life, call it universe, call it God, whatever it is that you believe in. But on quantum physics, you get this beautiful energy powering us. We've got so much energy, we can light up the whole city. But we're not always experiencing it at that level. Why? Because once it comes through us, there's subconscious mind that goes,
blocks it all.
and goes,
It's
you want to experience life well, but you're not allowed to do this, not allowed to do this, not allowed, and you've got all these rules and regulations, and this beautiful energy goes in and goes, oh, God, this is hard work. I'm going to go and play for somebody else. All you have to do is
that,
just relax the subconscious mind, get it out of the way, just make it realize that it's safe to play. And then life becomes easy, simple, and fun. That's what I want everybody to experience.
well, you're changing one mind at a time. And I heard your goal is 10 million.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's,
I'll sign me up for that.
look, I mean, right now, as you know, we're training coaches because I can't keep up with this work with the amount of people that are coming through, and I want to recruit so many people. And I think any coach that's out there training people and using any little modalities to fix one problem at a time, they need to know this stuff. Like, and we do have coaching academy where I actually train people just downloading my brain into theirs and being able to have more helping hands to actually take this into different levels. We've got coaches right now that are training who work with teenagers. Now I might have teenagers, well, they're actually grown up now, but I don't necessarily speak teenagers language. I need teenagers, people that work with teenagers that can take this to the next level. I've just worked with one coach who's a child coach, and we've created a program between 8 and 11 years old. Okay, the way that you speak to an 11-year-old is different than you speak to a 16-year-old. So, we're creating all these programs to just, there's going to be programs for parents, programs for, like, we've got sports people who are sportsmen who, achieve huge success, and then suddenly the sport finish and it just went dark down. How many sports people suffer from that? So we're creating programs for that. So I just need as many hands on the ground as possible to know this stuff so we can spread the world, so we can make this world a better place.
Well, the best way to start is for everybody to
5-day
jump
challenge.
in, 5-day challenge, and that will take you from there. you know.
That's it.
So Anna, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your excitement. It was mind-opening, mind-blowing as usual. And I love that what you're doing comes from your heart. You know, it's it's just not a business. It's trying to really open people up to see what we're made of and how when we get to this place, we're better for humanity. It'll bring us, you know, if we're not fighting each other, it brings us closer. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Very, very
Thank
welcome.
you. And I'm excited about being in your program.
Yeah.
So soon I'll be a little Anna Berger
Yes,
protege.
absolutely. The more the merrier. Not just
More
because
the
of
merrier.
myself, but just simply spread this knowledge because it really seriously it will remove emotional pain. What causes physical pain? Emotions. So if you can remove emotional pain and physical pain from the world, I really believe, seriously, I believe that this is optional now. Knowing this stuff, you can remove it from your life. That's a superpower. So I hope everyone gets to experience it. Thank you,
Well,
Rhonda.
I think, yes, thank you, Anna. All right.